Do you need to remove the chrome on the front of your MGB to perhaps polish it, replace it, or even paint your MGB? Stick around and find out on this episode of Maggie's Makeover how to remove the front bumper, how to remove the front grille, how to remove all of the front headlight components, as well as the side marker and the front directional. Welcome to another episode of Maggie's Makeover, and I'm your guest host, Studio Steve. For those of you who are new, this channel is about the restoration of my beloved 1972 MGB called Maggie, who I bought in the late 70s, drove until the early 80s, took her off the road for over 40 years, and started the restoration in earnest a little over 2.5 years ago. All right, let's get the shameless begging out of the way up front in the episode. For those of you who like the content, please subscribe, like, and share so Maggie can make friends throughout the world. Now, in our last series of episodes, Mechanic Steve was busy stripping the entire engine bay out of Maggie. If you haven't seen those episodes, the link to the playlist is up here. Now, in these next couple of episodes, Mechanic Steve is going to be busy stripping the entire exterior off of Maggie. So that includes her lights as well as the beautiful chrome work that, well, make her the gorgeous gal that she is. So the content is probably about an hour in duration, so we're gonna break this up into 2 episodes. So without further delay, let's head down to the garage and see how Mechanic Steve is doing at stripping the front part of Maggie. Hey, thanks, Studio Steve. And yes, now that we have Maggie's entire interior out of the car, the fact that we've stripped the engine bay, we now have to turn our attention to her exterior, where all of this beautiful, bright chrome work that makes Maggie look so gorgeous has got to come off the car. So we're going to start in the front. We're going to work our way down the sides and then hit the rear of the car. Now, specifically in the front of the car, we're going to start by taking Maggie's bumper off. That's going to be followed by her very unique fish mouth grille. Once that's done, we're going to take these 3 lights off, the side light, the directional, and the headlamp. Once that's done, we're going to remove Maggie's body side trim, followed by the British Leyland badge. And when we get to the rear of the car, the rear bumper, the rear tail lights, the reverse lights, the trunk lid, and an emblem have to come off the car back there. Now, once that's completed, there are a couple other things we need to do, like the chrome air intake on the top panel right here, followed by any of the hardware associated with holding the tonneau cover on. Now, I know there's a bunch of you out there saying, Mechanic Steve, you forgot about the door. That's true. We're going to do that in a separate episode where we're going to take out these side lights, the mirror, the door handle, the lock, and then all of the mechanisms inside the door, such as the crank and the actual window. That'll be in a separate episode that we're going to put in the interior strip playlist. So that's going to be our approach on the exterior strip of the car. Let's roll up these sleeves and get to work. So when we think about removing Maggie's smile or her front bumper, there's actually 3 components that are involved in that. There's the bumper itself, these 2 overriders, and then there actually are some tow hooks underneath here. Now, there's 2 schools of thought in removing this. You can remove them piece by piece from the car, or you can remove the whole assembly at once. And that's the approach I'm going to take, because that only requires you to remove 6 bolts to take this whole assembly off. I'll disassemble these other pieces after I get this off. So let's go underneath the car and I'll show you what I mean by that. All right, so let's take a look at the front bumper assembly in detail. You see, if we look down here, there's the bumper, there's the overrider, and underneath there, I think you can see, is the tow hook. So now let me go underneath here and I'll show you what that looks like on the other side and how those are attached to the bumper. So if we look underneath here, we're going to see this big L bracket that's attached to the bumper that actually holds the overrider on and then the tow hook. And if you follow that all the way through, that's the front fascia, it actually goes through and is attached to the frame. Now, it looks like there's only one bolt there. There actually should be two. That tells me something happened to this car in a previous ownership. They had to take it apart, put it back together, and they forgot to put the second bolt in. That's actually the same on the other side of the car as well. Now, if we follow this along over here, you're gonna see another bolt right there on the fascia. And if you go through that fascia, you're gonna see that attaches to an L bracket. To the actual bumper. So if we remove that bolt right there and this bolt right here, and we do that on both sides, this whole assembly should come out in one piece. So let's do that. Okay, we're underneath here. This is the corner of the bumper, and this is the fascia, and we're gonna undo this bolt. I don't know how tight these are. Oh my God, they're so easy to remove. They're not in here very hard. Let's just back this out. It's a rather long bolt. Okay, there's a bolt and there's a washer on it. Let me reorient the camera so we can get a view of now the other one. That's this bracket right here with the bolt right there. And that first one was a 9/16, and this is a 5/8. This may not be the best camera angle, but oh my God, that is so easy. They actually didn't put these in very hard. There we go, and that's off, and that has a lock washer as well. You can see that that's nice and loose. So now with the driver's side done, we're gonna come over here and undo those two bolts on the passenger side. Now I've already undone the one on the front fascia plate that's on the corner right here. I'm gonna undo the one on the L bracket here, but this time we're gonna use this because I think I'm gonna take this off pretty quickly and I'm gonna have to support it with my hand. All right, so let's go underneath here, find this, put it on, and just remove it. And now I think this whole assembly should just slide right out of the car like that. And now the front bumper is off the car. Now we're going to remove the fish mouth grill, and I think it's pretty easy to do. There are a total of 3 posi drive screws across the top here, and then down here underneath these rubber grommets there are 3 posi drive screws here. And I think if we just remove those 6, this whole fish mouth grill should just come right out. So let's remove these. Okay, and now with all 6 of those removed, I think this should just slide right out. There we go. That just pulls right out like this. So now the fish mouth grill is out of the car. Now before we move on to the next piece, does anybody know what this symbol is, or furthermore what these letters stand for? Stick around to the episode wrap-up and we'll let you know what that answer is. And so now we're going to remove the cluster of these 3 lights on the front part of the fenders. So we're going to start first with the headlight, or as I like to say, Maggie's eyes. That'll give us room in behind the directional and the side lamp. And once this is removed, we'll unscrew these two lamps, let them hang, given that the wires to them are integral to the fixture. We'll come back, go through the driver's side firewall, there's a grommet there, and undo those wires at the wire harness to remove them from the car. So the first step in removing the headlamp is actually to remove this chrome ring. And the way this is held on, there's a little piece of metal behind here that's bent in a certain way that allows you to push it in and have it clip on. But the key to actually taking it off is to use a tool like this that has a little 90-degree bend on it. This is simply, I bought this at the hardware store. It allows you to open paint cans and to hook that behind this trim ring and to pull it forward to expose that piece of metal. Now, if you're doing this on your car that is already painted and you're just doing this as a maintenance item, and you might want to cover this in some tape so not to scratch the paint. So here we go. We're going to take this, we're going to put it around the side here, and we're going to give it a bit of a pull like that, and you can see that ring comes right off like that. And there, well, you probably can't see it, but that's that little piece of metal that I was talking about that holds this on. So now that that's off, you can see this is another ring in here that keeps the headlight in. And that's held on by 3 posi drive screws. Let's see if we can take these out and remove the bulb. So there's one here. I believe there's another one down in here. And there's one up top here. Now it's important that you hold on to this bulb because there's going to be nothing holding it in. So let's take that off. And this ring now comes off. There goes the screw. We'll find that later. Here's the bulb. And there's the wires that actually connect the connector to it. We're going to take this off, put that in a safe place. Now that then leaves us with this bezel, 2 screws and a spring right here that is anchored to the base plate of the light that actually hold this in. So let's undo this spring, reach in here, pull that out like that. You can see that we can just pull that out without removing those screws. One way to do it, I suppose, you probably could have removed those screws. These are the screws that are used to adjust the headlamp. Now, with that said, there are 1, 2, 3, looks like 4 screws in here that hold this, the backing part of the fixture. So now let's take those out with this gun. And with that, this now just pops out, and you can see there are the wires that feed into that. So now the front headlamp assembly is out of Maggie. Let's move on to the directional and the side lamp. Let's take off this side light next. Now you're going to see there's a screw right here, but that's simply to keep the cover on here. If you go underneath this fender well, and I think you guys can see from the B-roll camera, there are 2 nuts right here. They're 3/8" nuts, and that's what actually secures this side lamp to the car. So let's go in here and take these out. There's one. It appears as though this is spinning on the inside of the fixture. So we are going to have to take this lamp off. The other one came out okay. This one for some reason isn't. peel this back here. All right, so we're going to try this with a pair of vice grips this time, which is what I probably should have used. I think that's pretty good. And there it is. That great sigh of relief as a mechanic. Okay, so now that's off. Yeah, I think you can see that was kind of toast right there. And now we're going to attempt to take out the front directional right here. Let's hope we have better luck. You can see those are those two threaded studs that hold it in. Let's try to see if we can take these out. I think they are 3/8. Yeah, so this is coming out a lot easier. All right, there's one of them off. And there we go. And that's the front directional undone. Okay, so now that we have all of these undone, we're going to go inside the engine bay, and you can see in here, it's the main wire harness, the trunk that it comes off. And we basically have a couple of groupings here. So this one right here, if I push and pull on this, that's clearly the side marker. These two right here, red and green, if I push and pull on that, looks like we have the directional. And then this bundle looks like it's the headlamp. So let's start to undo these. Oh, and I did find there actually is another horn in here. There are the leads right there for it. However, there is no, looks like somebody took it out, the support bracket. Let's undo the side marker because that's pretty thick and it's got to fit through that grommet. Once we get that out, the others should come. So let's undo. There's a green that goes into this one right here, which sort of splits that red, which is probably the power. And then there's a common ground down here that we'll pull out. And now that we've disconnected those, I should be able to just push and pull this right through. There we go. And there's the side directional out. Okay, so now let's take the front directional. That was the side marker. Now the front directional is this green, red, and a red. You'll see we're gonna, looks actually on this side is a green and a red. Let's undo that. Undo this. This is a double connector. Undo those. And let's see if we can pull these out. And now the front directional is out. So again, these two right here were for the side marker and the front directional. And then these down here, which is a green yellow and a green red and a black, are for the headlight. So let's undo those. That's the black. This is a, coming out of it is a green red and a green yellow. And we're going to pull those out. And I should be able to now just reach in here and pull these out. Okay, so we now have all the front lights out of Maggie. This is a seal, it looks like, so I guess we can remove this as well. Take that off. So that completes the driver's side. I'm going to do the same thing on the passenger side. We don't need to see it, but I'll take care of that as well. So next we're going to remove the chrome cover for the air inlet, and they're held on by what I believe are called speed nuts. And those are just small, thin, rectangular blanks that have a sort of a profile to them. I think if you look here, you'll be able to see what one of those looks like. And so I'm going to attempt to take those off actually using a screwdriver and just sort of press down on it. Now there's one here, one over here, and corresponding the same symmetrically. So let me show you how we're going to take one of these off. So I think through the B-roll camera you can see, I'm just going to stick my screwdriver in here and see if I can pry that down. There we go. There's one right there. All right, so we're going to try using 2 screwdrivers now, one on either end, and then just sort of pushing down on them. Yep, I think that helps. Try the 2 screwdriver approach, one on either side of the sort of the post. And that one's out. Let's try this one. That one's off. All right, we got 2 in the corners. Now these could be really tough. No, that one's off. One more to go. Oh, there we go. It's hanging in there. Come on, Maggie. Just let it go. There it is. All right, so they're all off. So this should now just lift up. And it does. So the chrome cover for the air inlet is now off of the car. So before I turn it back over to you, Studio Steve, we're going to take a look at some episode outtakes. Oh, it's Monday morning. It's time to go to work. And I've got to become Studio Steve. 1, 2, 3. Hi, I'm Studio Steve, and welcome to another episode of Maggie's Makeover. Don't tell me I didn't push the button. Don't tell me I didn't push the button. I did. To get a good grip on it, and then simply pull. And there's a lot of rust in this, and so it may not come out the first time or the second time. Come on, Maggie, give it up. Let's go. So that's a wrap for this episode of Maggie's Makeover. You know, Maggie, Mechanic Steve, and myself hope that you found the episode both entertaining as well as helpful should you decide to do any of this work on your own MGB. Now, stay tuned for our next episode where Mechanic Steve completes the exterior strip process by removing Maggie's rear lights, her rear bumper, her trunk latch and lid, all of the body side molding, all of the tonneau snaps. Now, for those of you who have stuck around this long, click on this link. Become a subscriber. If you're interested in seeing how Maggie's interior was stripped, click on the link to the playlist up here. Either way, we'll see you on the next episode, and happy motoring.